is Dr. Gakuo Mwangi. I'm from the Association of Kenya Feed Manufacturers. Kenya Feed Manufacturers is the association that brings the feed millers in Kenya together in one group, in one association. And we are here today in Kanyuabora, Mbeere district, regarding a very important value chain, which we call the cotton value chain. And the particular value chain that we are talking about here today is the BT cotton, or in short what we normally say the GMO cotton. It is being grown here. The interest in our case on the BT cotton or the cotton value chain is that the cotton is a very important ingredient for our feeds, for the animal feeds, because it supplies the protein component of the animal feed. But to go down along the cotton value chain and why it is important, there is a lot of importance in it, horizontally, vertically, and even the downward integration, because at the primary level and the ground level, it creates employment for the farmers, like the farmers that we have here. And these farmers are normally in the dry parts of the country where other crops do not do well. So a crop like the BT cotton that has been introduced here and in these dry areas, it is actually giving incomes to the farmers who are here. In addition to that, the forward progression of the cotton crop is to now the textile industry. And in the textile industry, that is where we have garments, we have clothing, and you can imagine in the ginning factories and the like, it will go and create a lot of jobs for the spinners and also for the ginners. Now, after everything has been done and the lint has been removed from cotton, we are left with the seed that remains there, and that seed is about 67% of the weight of the ball, and that seed is the one that is then processed into oil, and the last byproduct of it is called the protein cake. And that protein cake is the one that is very rich in protein, and it is the one that we normally apply in animal feeds. Interestingly, the protein cake that we are using in the country today, unfortunately, is we are importing them from outside Kenya, we are importing them from Uganda, we are importing them from Tanzania. There are some that are coming from as far as India. It is extremely important as a country to look wholly into what we call the oil crop value chain, where cotton is part of it. There is also sunflower, which is also part of the oil crop value chain. We also get a lot of protein from the byproduct of sunflower processing, and there is also soya. So these are materials that we require in the animal feed industry, and they also help us make quality feed, good feed for our animals, quality feed for our animals, and also jobs by the livestock enterprises, and also by the feed millers, and also all the other related industry players. So it is very important we are here today, and we are extremely excited that the cotton value chain, the oil crop value chain, is taking shape in our country. That is the way that we would want it to be going into the future. You all know that around the world today we are talking about a situation where commodities, especially that are used for even human food and animal feeds, have been disrupted by happenings that are happening around the world, one of them including the Russia-Ukraine war. And if these things are happening in other parts of the world, and they can seriously affect and impact on our food security, on our feed security, on our employment, on our job creation, it is upon us as a country to also think, what do we do to also solve our problems at the local level in food production? And these are the processes that we need to take forward. We are told that we also understand that they used to happen many years ago, and we are asking ourselves, why is agricultural productivity not happening at this point in time when it is urgently needed? The population has grown, requirement for food, demand for food food demand for incomes has increased, but you find that productivity has gone down. So we must wake up as a country, as a people, increase productivity, create jobs, create employment, increase income levels, and actually create wealth for the country. It's actually in these processes that we'll also be able to get foreign exchange that our country so much desire, and that is why we need to move from what we call traders or just net importers of goods and services to becoming producers of products and services that we use as a country, that we can use locally here, and also that we can export to other areas or to other parts of the world.
My name is Dr. Paul Chege. I work for ISA Afri Center. We are a non-profit that provides communication for science communication about biotechnology, specifically BT cotton, and I am an expert. I'm a biotechnology and biosafety expert. And concerning GMO food safety, I would say that the data that is available globally that has and the statements out of research from renowned organizations such as World Health Organizations, FAO, and others, including the UN and the AU, have confirmed that indeed GMO crops or GM-derived crops are as safe as compared to their conventionally derived counterparts. So they do not pose any additional risk as compared to their conventionally bred counterparts. So BT cotton is safe. And it has been grown for now close to 30 years without any incident of any health incident or concern. So the BT cotton that is being grown here is a hybrid that has been introgressed with the BT gene, and this BT gene confers insect resistance to it. The crop that we used to grow some years ago, before the introduction of BT cotton, was very susceptible to cotton bollworm, what we call African cotton bollworm. And this cotton bollworm is a pest that devastates. Is a pest that can cause 100% yield loss for cotton. And so with the BT cotton, the BT gene or the insect resistant gene, the resistance gene, enables the crop to be self-protecting. Therefore, while you would have sprayed almost 10 to 12 times for the non-GMO cotton, for the BT cotton you end up spraying only 2 times for other pests of concern such as thrips, such as cotton stainers, such as mealybugs. So we encourage farmers to spray only 2 times to control against those pests. Otherwise, for the cotton bollworm, it is completely defeated with GM cotton, BT cotton. Yeah, there is misconception that BT cotton is only used for textile and apparel. No, cotton is actually only around 36% of cotton is used for textile making. The rest of the produce is seed and other things are used to make seed cake that is very helpful for making animal feeds. We also have oils that are extracted from cotton, and oil can be used as cooking oil, so we can consider cotton as a food crop as well.
Thank you. Because we are legislators and our work to make and amend laws is to look at cotton and amend and make an act where we are going to fight against what happened in the 80s, where the cotton industry collapsed, where we allowed clothing from outside, mitumba and so on, to come in large numbers and neglected our factories, Rivertex, Raymond and all of them that were making clothes from our own cotton. We want to make a strong legislation to protect our cotton farming, and we want to ensure in that law that if we have to import any material, textile materials, they must be there only to fill the gap or to look at where our deficit is. That is when we can only allow, and we need the government to be very firm on this. If the government cannot be firm, it will be a waste of time. If the government will have people who are cartels in this kind of industry, then we shall lose it. We want to be firm this time to ensure that Kenyans benefit. And I want to assure Kenyans that the BT cotton that we have seen is a crop that is going to benefit them. We want many of the Kenyans to embrace this crop, and we want many investors to come in to put up ginneries and textile factories when we have enough material, when we have enough raw materials. So I'm encouraging Kenyans to go cotton farming. We really want the government also to do farming, to do funding, more funding for the research institutions. Our research institutions are poorly funded. So we want a lot of funds to be put into research for us to survive.
So my name is Mbeere Kitany, MP for Aldai constituency, that is in Nandi County. And we've come here today as about 4 departments or departmental committees of Parliament to look at issues of biotechnology and GMO. And specifically to this farm, we've come to look at the BT cotton that has been grown here. The departmental committees that are here, I myself am from the Trade, Investments and Cooperatives. I'm the Vice Chair. We also have other members from other committees. The committees that are here again is Committee on Agriculture. We have the Committee on Health and the Committee on Delegated Legislation. They are all here also to come and learn, to see how this biotechnology and the GMO technology can really help our country to be able to move to the next level. We've been to this farm, we've looked at the BT cotton that is grown here, and we've heard from the farmers and listened to the farmers. And the farmer himself, he's saying how the production of BT cotton, which is a GMO product, has increased tenfold compared to what it is that they used to grow. Like for example, in every plant of a cotton plant, of the cotton plant, they are able to get about more than 200 balls, where the traditional or original plant used to be about only just 2-3 balls. So you can see the production is actually tenfold, and that actually goes to give value to the farmer. One thing that we are doing right now, we are at the budgeting stage of our country, and the Kenya Kwanza administration has identified 7 value chains that they are calling the beta chains. And one of the value chains is cotton, because we need to increase the value of cotton. Currently, we have export promotion zones, we have, and in those EPZs we have apparel. But the apparel, we find that a lot of, or 90, or actually 100% of the material or the cotton that is brought into, that they use to make the clothes is imported. Yet we have farmers, and we have all farms that can grow cotton, convert that cotton into cotton material and sell it to these apparel companies, so that when a product is said made in Kenya, it actually is made in Kenya right from the source. So we are encouraging these farmers, and we are here to learn quite a bit also as ourselves, as members of parliament from various areas. They will introduce themselves, but you can see we also come from various areas of this country, because we want to spread the good news to all our constituents, to all our areas, and encourage and support the government in the value chains. Cotton being one of the value chains, we really want to encourage and support the government to ensure that we increase production of our cotton. We've seen the production right now from the presentations that were done earlier. From the presentation, we see that the cotton that we produce is a far cry from the current quantities that are required in this country. And I think all that we require is support from the to the farmers. And the moment we support the farmers, we have the potential. We need to go back to those olden days. Kenya is a naturally or generally an agricultural economy. If we can go back to agriculture, support our economies, I think we can go far. And more importantly, if we can work together with our researchers, because today we've had a session where the researchers are telling us that there are so many bad things that are said about GMO. But really, there is a lot of good more than the bad. In fact, a lot of the ills that are said about GMO are not really GMO-related ills. There are other ills that are brought into the GMO. And these are scientists, these are researchers who go to the lab and talk to us. And in fact, we actually encouraged them today and told them they should actually take that leap forward and come out and talk about the technologies that they have learned. Because in other countries, they are benefiting from technology, from this GM and biotechnology, which as a country in Kenya, if we want to go to the next level, we want to do mass production, we want to do value addition and be able to compete with the rest of the world, because the world is now a global economy, we must actually go into those levels. So that is what we've learned today, and we feel that this is technology that we need to move to every part of our country. We need to encourage every member of parliament, every person to come into this space. BT cotton, I know people are worried about food, especially GMO-related food, but BT cotton is for our clothing. And I think as a start, and I think we need to continue and start from there and see how the production on farmers will go. More importantly, other than for clothing, we also have BT cotton that will help us with food for animals. We currently have less food for animals. We import a lot of that from Tanzania, from Uganda. Why should we import? We used to export to these countries. We are now importing from these countries. We need to reverse this game. We need to go back to what we used to be. We were a giant. When they used to talk about the East African nation, we were a giant. We need to go back to being that giant. And I think the way we are going right now, if this is the trend, within 2-3 years, I think the reverse, we shall have started reversing the downward trend we are going and start going up. I think we will have a reversed value in terms of gains. The farmers are very happy. In fact, talking to them, they don't seem to have any issue with the GMO cotton, the BT cotton at all. In fact, they feel that it is a relief from what it is that they used to grow before. And in fact, I've tried prodding them to find out, do you have any health concerns, anything? They are okay. They are very happy. They are good. There is no difference in their life other than more money in their pockets. Pesa mfukoni iko sawa. Wanafurahi na wanasema wanataka kuendelea, and in fact the only thing they are crying more for is water, specifically in this area, and more field officers and field visits from officers from government. And I think we want to encourage the county governments to also up their game in terms of sending field officers to the various farmers so that the production per farm can go to the levels that the researchers are talking about. Because right now they are talking about research of getting almost 7 tons per acre. But when you talk to the farmer right now, the farmer is getting about 2 tons per acre. If we can produce, you can up that game to 7 tons, it's better value for the farmer. Understand first is that there is a law that protects or that talks about biotechnology, and there is even an institution, a body that was formed to ensure that there is research and regulation on in biotechnology, biotechnology and GMO. This is the Biosafety Authority. It actually exists. The only thing is that these bodies need to come out and talk to Kenyans, because this is a lot of research, it's a lot of science, and that science needs to be converted into a language that Wanjiku, that everybody else can understand. And that is, I think, is the only missing gap in this whole spectrum, that these scientists need to come and talk to us. And while in the meeting, we've actually encouraged them to have sessions with the public. We've told them also to even look for a session with us as parliamentarians, educators, because we are very good disseminators of information. So if they educate us, we can be able to disseminate the same information, and not only disseminate, actually practice it, because we are capable of doing that. And all that we need is education. And I think the same level of education that we lack is what is lacked by the Kenyan population. And that's why there is all these bad stories about GMO. They talk about a piece of chicken and say this chicken is GMO. But listening to them today, in fact, there's no chicken that we have that is GMO. None, not at all. all these fat chicken are other things that are put into the chicken, nothing called GMO at all. And in fact, in essence, what GMO does is come to help in protecting, like for example, the cotton. It is helping the ball, which is what produces the cotton, from being affected by insects that could otherwise cause more damage and also increase production. And then in terms of like where we are right now, they receive very little rainfall. But you can see the crop is green. So it is actually giving them, or rather, the GMO product has been made in such a way that it improves the product, the produce, and you get better value than what it would have been from a traditional or a normal organic plant.
Naitwa Joseph Nyagajeru. Nimetoka katika kaunti ya Embu, Mbeere North Sub County, Evrole Ward, Kajimbora location. Mimi ni mkulima wa pamba. Nimelima pamba kwa miaka 8. Na kwa huu kulima wa Mbeere nimeilima kwa miaka 3. Ile tofauti iko ya Mbeere na ile nyingine pamba ya kitambo, Mbeere iko na mazao mingi. Kwa sababu hii Mbeere ukipanda ekari moja unatoa tani moja, approximately 1 ton. Lakini nyingine ya kitambo ile tunapanda ilikuwa inatoa kwa ekari moja ilikuwa inatoa kilo 300. Sasa unaona hiyo tofauti ni kubwa sana. Kwa hii Mbeere unaona haina kazi mingi. Kupiga ndawa Mbeere unapiga mara 3, lakini ya kitambo ulikuwa unapiga mara 12. Kwa hivyo mkulima anaokoa pesa ukipanda Mbeere. Tukiingia kwa upande wa mbegu, kwa Mbeere kutumia mbegu unatumia kidogo sana. Unatumia kilo 1.5. Lakini nyingine ya kitambo tulikuwa tunatumia kilo 6 kwenda mpaka kilo 8. Kwa hivyo mkulima akipanda Mbeere anapata pesa mingi na mazao inatoka mingi, na hata kuvuna unavuna mara 2. Unavuna mwezi wa 3 na nyingine unavuna mwezi wa 6. Kulingana na mimi, wale wanasema ati GMO ni mbaya ni vile wanapotosa wakulima. Tumelima GMO, Mbeere ni GMO, tumelima miaka 3, hakuna madhara tumepata. Na wakulima wanaendelea kulima na wanaifurahia. Soko iko tayari. Pamba ukivuna sana tunavuna kutoka mwezi wa 6 mpaka mwezi wa 4. Tukimaliza kuvuna inachukuliwa na engineers kama hapa pande ya kwetu. Tunauza Mbeere engineer, Tharaka engineer. Ama challenges zile tunapata kama wakulima, unaona hii pande ya inaitwa Mbeere North na ingine inaitwa Mbeere South. Yaani the Lower Embu County. Mvua sio mingi vile. Kwa hivyo tungeomba kama ni kuwekewa maji tuwekewe, hata tungeomba waheshimiwa waende tutetee tuwekewe maji ili tuwe tunalima ukulima ambao utatuletea manufaa. Ukiangalia kwa hii shamba mwezi wa 4 ilikuwa evergreen. Lakini kutoka mwezi wa 5 hakuna mvua tulipata, na wanaona ni kama kiangazi inaendelea kuingia na pamba inaenda kama inakauka kidogo. Tukipata maji tutaongeza ekari, sababu ukulima utakuwa rahisi. Maji itaongeza season, sababu ukipiga maji mwezi wa 2 bado pamba itaendelea kukua, sababu ni mmea unaendelea kukua. Ikifika mwezi wa 6 bado unaendelea kukua, sababu inapewa maji. Kwa hivyo mavuno itakuwa mingi na wakulima wataendelea tu kufurahia. Wakulima walikuwa wameuzwa hiyo poronjo ya kusema GMO ni mbaya. Hata tulikuwa tunaambiwa na mashirika mengine atukivuna hii cotton ama hii pamba mikono itakuwa itapata madhara, utapata kansa. Lakini mimi kama mkulima hiyo nimekataa, sababu nimelima, hata wakulima wangu wamelima. Hii area iko na wakulima zaidi kuliko 200. Na hakuna mtu amekonjeka na wanaendelea na kazi yao, na mpaka wanaomba tu hii kilimo iendelee ya GMO. Hata tungeomba serikali iongeze chakula ingine kama ni mahindi, mtama, viazi, yote iwe ya GMO, sababu wakulima wameona hii ndio mwelekeo wa ukulima.
Mimi niko na 60 years old, na vile ni unajua hapa katika Mbeere tunategemea kilimo ya pamba, na ndio tumesomesa naye kutoka zamani, tunasomesa na pamba na tunaendelea kwa vile mtu kama mimi niko na watoto 6 wale wananitegemea, na watu wengine ambao wa kaunti hii mzima ya Embu wanategemea mimi juu mimi ndio mwalimu wa pamba, mimi ndio mkulimaji ule wanakuja kuangaliwa, na vile mimi naendelea nikiwa naona hii ukulima wa pamba uendelee Kenya, ndio tuwe watu wa kulima.